tonight. 3 elderly persons succumb to COVID-19 as the island's death toll from the virus climbs to 342, with 88 new cases taking the total of confirmed cases to 15,241. Minister of Health and Wellness and his team visit the Mandeville Market to encourage citizens to eat healthy to help fight COVID-19.
The solution to a good, healthy life is not always in a prescription pad.
Still tonight, angry residents staged a demonstration in Rocky Point, Clarendon yesterday afternoon, demanding the release of well-known businessman Nicholas Graham.
Any wrongdoing, spitting on in there when you say peace, that's a pity. Love, that is pity. You lock him up 2 days. And you can't one way you have him over there search again.
And President of the PNP, Mark Golding, along with several party representatives, toured sections of Trelawney today.
It ought to have been finished this month. It will not be finished this month, I don't think, but they're still, contractors trying very hard to deliver it as soon as possible after the end of January. 36 beds it's designed for.
Good evening. 3 elderly persons have succumbed to COVID-19 as the death toll from the virus on the island climbs to 342. The deceased are an 82-year-old male from St. Anne, an 88-year-old male from St. Elizabeth, and an 87-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew. 2 of the deaths were previously reported as under investigation. Another death previously reported as under investigation has been classified now as coincidental. In the meantime, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has reported 88 new cases of the virus, taking the total of cases on the island now to 15,241. The new cases include 46 males and 42 females, ranging in age from 1 to 90 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew with 24 cases. Manchester recorded 17 cases. Clarendon and St. James recorded 13 cases each. St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland recorded 8 cases each. St. Mary recorded 3 cases, while Hanover and Trelawney recorded 1 case each. The country also recorded 31 recoveries, taking the total of recovered persons now to 11,942. In the meantime, the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew that is now in place to reduce the spread of COVID-19 on the island has been extended until the end of February. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced the extension during a statement in the House of Representatives yesterday. He said that the public gathering limit will remain at 15 persons, while the age limit for the stay-at-home measure will be 65 years. Meanwhile, church or religious services may continue as long as they continue to observe the established protocols. Also continuing are restrictions on hospitals, nursing homes, and infirmaries, restrictions on events, including small events, parties, round-robins, and religious celebrations. The restrictions relating to travelers from the United Kingdom that will remain in place until February 28. The protocols under the Controlled Entry Program for both residents and visitors will continue to be enforced until April 15. Now, the Prime Minister said the continuation of the programs under the Controlled Entry Program was done at the request of the tourism trade. This to provide some degree of certainty to travelers who want to make vacation and travel plans. In other news tonight, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton and his team visited the Mandeville Market this morning to encourage citizens to eat healthy in order to boost their immune systems in the effort to help fight the coronavirus COVID-19. Dr. Tufton says this is a part of the ministry's pop-up initiative to encourage residents into health-seeking behavior.
One of the things that we're trying to promote, even in these COVID, and more so now in these COVID times, is how we strengthen our immune system as individuals. And the solution to a good healthy life is not always in a prescription pad. It's not always by going to a pharmacy or even to a doctor. It really starts with how we treat our bodies. So part of the wellness agenda that we have promoted in public health, which started before COVID, is promoting health-seeking behaviors, which means telling people that if you live a particular way, if you exercise, if you eat right, if you check with your doctor once a year for a checkup, then you likely will have a better quality of life because you'll be guided by the doctor without having to treat a sickness, and you will have healthier vital signs as your body responds to a healthier living. Our market pop-ups are intended to support that initiative of healthy living and health-seeking behavior.
The Health and Wellness Minister further encouraged residents to try and source fresh and nutritious foods that can help strengthen their resistance against viruses such as COVID-19 and others.
What I'm saying to you in these COVID times, especially now here in Manchester, you must seek out what is good for you to build your immune system, to improve your chances of overcoming viruses and diseases like COVID-19. And I'm here in Mandeville Market to say to you, as part of our pop-ups, I'm here for the day, there is so much tropical fruits and vegetables that are fresh, that are just coming out of the field, not stored, not preserved, don't involve no whole for chemicals, natural, the complex carbohydrates, the fruits, the vegetables, with so much nutritional value. You are better off focusing on that kind of consumption from the standpoint of building your immunity and being able to resist the diseases that are out there. So part of the COVID response is to eat well, to exercise. And those who have suffered from COVID, if you look at the statistics, are those who already have compromised immune system. So this is not a show, it's a real situation. And I think we need to remind people of the opportunity that COVID has provided to refocus and to give support to our own local produce. All right, so that's...
A health representative from the parish pointed out some foods and vegetables we can eat to boost the immune system.
Cabbage, callaloo, kale. The pak chow is plentiful and cheaper now that we can now balance the diet. We have carrots, which are fully in-fledged, and beetroot, yam, sweet potato. So we have a good mix of all the staples, the vegetables and the fruits, to build the immune system, because that is what is going to resist the flus, yes, the COVIDs and all the other viruses to come. Once you have a strong immune system, drink a lot of teas, and the natural teas are also here in the market to build your immune system.
Still making Mello TV news. 8 of the 216 schools that resumed face-to-face classes this month have been forced to temporarily close following the discovery of several cases of COVID-19. Education Minister Favour Williams made the disclosure during yesterday's sitting of the House of Representatives in downtown Kingston, saying that suspected or confirmed cases of the virus are now on the ministry's radar in the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Clarendon. She said already in Region 1, Kingston and St. Andrew, Donald Quarry High and Penwood High schools have been affected. According to the minister, Donald Quarry had a case of a student that tested positive. She said the school was closed on January 21 for sanitization and psychosocial intervention, and the health ministry has advised that the school will remain closed until the completion of contact tracing. In the case of Penwood High, Minister Williams said a staff member who tested positive was the source. She said the school was subsequently closed for deep sanitization and will reopen for face-to-face lessons on February 1. In the meantime, she says all individuals who came into contact with a positive case have been quarantined. In the ministry's Region 2, which is St. Thomas, Portland and St. Mary, She said St. Mary High School has delayed its reopening plan as a senior member of the administration has been exposed to the virus and has been sent into quarantine. In the meantime, the Ministry of Education has declared that no schools have been given permission to issue COVID-19 indemnity waiver forms to parents that send their children to face-to-face classes. Education Minister Favour Williams said the ministry has issued no such directive or endorsed any proposal for schools to issue letters of indemnity waivers to parents and added that they cannot force parents to sign these letters. She also stated that a bulletin had been sent to schools informing them that the ministry does not approve of this practice and those schools issuing these waivers should cease and desist. She says she is calling on parents to report schools that insist that waivers must be signed before children are allowed inside face-to-face classes. In other news tonight, the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA's president, Jasford Gabriel, is asking certain pertinent questions of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Among the concerns expressed by the JTA president, he asked for a further review of preparedness for upcoming exams, as most teachers are expressing that their students are not ready for these exams.
The Jamaica Teachers Association is calling for a further review of the schedule for the 2021 PEP examinations. The ability test is slated for February 23 and the curriculum-based test and the performance tasks between April 23 and March 26. 86% of approximately 400 primary school teachers surveyed across the country indicated that their students are not ready for these examinations. 95% of the teachers are asking for the exams to be pushed back and a mock exam to be administered prior to the PEP examinations. And further, that a modified format be looked at, allowing all the examinations to be done in a shorter block of time. There are some critical questions that must be addressed because the Ministry of Education seems quite intent on proceeding with the schedule based on the feedback we are getting from school administrators and teachers.
Mr. Gabriel also asked how many of the primary schools not yet open for face-to-face classes have been certified ready to reopen.
Of the over 600 primary schools not yet open for face-to-face, how many of them have been inspected by the Ministry of Health and certified ready? Secondly, what is the schedule to inspect the rest of the schools to facilitate students for face-to-face classes first and then exams later? Thirdly, what percentage of the students in the primary sector who are earmarked for examinations have been engaged in either face-to-face or online instructions? Next, what is the plan to address the significant learning loss among the examination students? And finally, how will students with disabilities and/or comorbidities be treated?
Continuing with tonight's news, Regional Director in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Region 4, Dr. Michelle Pinnock, says by the end of this week, a total of 34 schools should be reopened for a mix of face-to-face classes and remote learning in the region. In a recent interview, she indicated that as at last Friday, there were 27 schools in the region employing face-to-face instructions and remote learning. The region covers Hanover, St. James, and Westmoreland. She noted that primary school students in grades 4 to 6 who are slated to sit the upcoming Primary Exit Profile PEP examinations will take part in face-to-face lessons. Meanwhile, Dr. Pinnock said that the Education Ministry has been working in tandem with the Ministry of Health and Wellness every step of the way to ensure the safe reopening of schools in the region. Still making Mello TV news tonight, angry residents staged a demonstration in Rocky Point, Clarendon yesterday afternoon, demanding the release of a well-known businessman, Nicholas Graham. Graham has been detained by the police since Sunday, but the residents insist the businessman is a law-abiding resident who has been unfairly targeted by the police.
And if you search the man house Sunday, I want to lock him up Sunday. What could have been happening between the little time? What could have gone there in a time so you can't come back in yard. When you take in money, you take everything. What is the problem? The government needs to step up and try to protect people then because they want the citizens them to do for them job. The citizens can't do them for them job. He never got JCF school, JDF school, or flight school, so why them take set for him? It's impossible, they need to do the better.
Any wrongdoing, spitting out in there when you say peace, that a pity. Love, that is pity. Pity have no time for this and that. You don't find out, you come 2 times and search already. You say you got warrant and proper paper for search. How much hour now since they are here? What are they still searching for? You lock him up 2 days. And you can't one, why you have him over there search again?
A large deployment of military and police personnel kept watch to ensure that the demonstrations remained peaceful. But even as the demonstrations were happening, investigators led Graham in handcuffs to his home and then his business place to conduct searches. This development in Rocky Point has occurred following the mysterious emergency landing of a small plane in the community on Saturday evening. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return to more stories making news as People's National Party President Mark Golding, along with several party representatives, toured sections of the parish of Trelawney today, and the Child Protection and Family Services Agency advised the public that the telephone lines for the National Children's Registry, NCR, are temporarily down. But first, we'll take a break, and then it's Christopher Scott with the sports.